What's up, y'all? It's Will coming back for Field Note Fridays episode powered by Federal Premium. On today's episode, we're going to be talking arrow building. It's tinkering time. Everybody's getting their arrow setups dialed in. You're trying to figure out things. You're figuring out vane configurations, arrow weight. You might be scratching the slate clean and going with something new. And so nonetheless, we're going to get Mr. Logan White, who's the owner of the Archery Den out of Tennessee, as well as having many other irons in the fire, which we're going to talk about with him. But nonetheless, we're going to get him on here to talk about FOC, arrow weight, arrow spine, vane configuration, arrow wraps, broadheads, a couple other things. But we're going to bring this to y'all, so hopefully y'all can help make your own decision on what your arrow setup is going to be like this fall, because it's that time of year we're just getting into it, getting ready for the fall. So we got Logan on here to talk about that. We want to thank all of y'all for your support of the HuntStand podcast. We appreciate it greatly, and we hope you enjoy this episode of Field Note Fridays. All right, man, let's get this thing rolling. Logan, appreciate you hopping on the podcast with me today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, man.
Oh, of
Looking
course.
forward to it.
Of course, man. I mean, after you and I met at the hunt down here in Texas during turkey season, I knew I had to get you on here to talk archery.
That was a fun hunt. That was a good time. That was a good camp, good people. But yeah, we share a lot of the same passions, man. It's definitely going to be for a good conversation.
Oh, heck yeah, man. Heck yeah. Speaking of, do you know when the videos are going to be coming out for that turkey hunt?
They should be in the next couple of weeks, should be the first one to drop. They had a little late of a start on turkey call, so they'll finish that series and then we'll roll.
Cool. So one of the first things I like to do is for the guest to give the listeners kind of that 30-foot tree stand view of who you are. So kind of tell me who you are, where you're from, and how you've gotten to where you are now.
Yeah, so I'm Logan White. I live here in Middle Tennessee, just south of Nashville. Got a wife, 2 kids, love my family. They're number one. And then we own the Archery Den in Franklin, Tennessee. And the Archery Den has put me where I'm at today in the hunting industry with relationships just on, the people I meet there. We all share the same passion. And so the Archery Den has definitely put me farther in the hunting industry than I was before that. And it's been an awesome ride.
Now, you do some other stuff on the side, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me, You're a firefighter, and you do a couple other things as well, man. Tell us about that.
I'm a fireman here in Spring Hill, full-time paid career fire department, ride a heavy rescue truck, and then I own a media company, which is what we were doing down in Texas. I was filming and helping my producer do some stuff for gobblers and guitars for NWTF. And then I own a landscaping business, but we do a medical security company here in town for executives and different type of people like that. So that's a fun gig.
Dude, where do you find the time?
Man, my wife is awesome. My wife she's definitely the rock of the household, and she understands I'm gonna work hard now, so hopefully we can kick back and glide in a few years,
Man, it's gotta be pretty dang cool. I mean, not a lot of guys are lucky to have an awesome wife like yours, man. So like, kudos to her, kudos to you. It sounds like you're getting things figured out, but
she definitely puts up with a lot of travel and on the road with the filming, and then just my passion, my hunting passion, man. I hunt every fall out west. So she definitely lets me get away with a lot that I probably shouldn't.
Man, I know a bunch of the guys out there probably wondering, like, man, she got some sisters?
Only one.
The
only one.
There you go, man. Man, that's awesome, dude. Well, so one of the things I want to focus on, it's the time of year where a lot of guys are starting to fine-tune their arrow setups. They're fine-tuning their bows. They're picking that broadhead for the season. And so I want to break down part 1 of this 3-part series of archery hunting, or I don't even know what I'm going to call this series yet, but I want to break down FOC.
Mm-hmm.
What is FOC? and why is it so dang important?
Well, so that's the second question. That's a trick question. The first part is simply front of center.
Yeah.
So where is your weight in that arrow? And that's going to determine how the arrow drives. So like I set all of my stuff up for elk, and then I whitetail hunt after elk season. And I don't change anything. If I can kill an elk with it, I can kill a whitetail with it. My FOC on my elk arrow is right at 16%. The second part of your question, is it really that important, or have we made it that important? Like
True.
Levi Morgan, he said in an interview, they asked him about FOC, and his answer was, "What's FOC?" So it's one of those things, like some people swear by it, some people could care less about it.
So when you talk about that percentage, what are you talking 16% in front of the center? Or are you talking 16% away from the end of your arrow? Like, what are you talking?
16% in the front of the center of the arrow.
Okay.
But if you get that, so if you're going to shoot a heavier arrow and that weight is up between 14 to 17%, you may have to put a little bit of weight in the back to make that arrow fly straight and not tip down. So it's diving into arrows. You can go down rabbit holes in every direction.
Let's do it.
Yeah. And you can chase all kinds of things. So I stick with my build, the way I build arrows, what shoots well for me at my poundage, my draw length, and that's how I build my arrows.
Okay. So why do you think FOC has gotten to become so popular?
The internet and blogs and podcasts, and there are people that swear by it, and those people are very knowledgeable. They've spent a lot of time in the industry. They've shot thousands and thousands of arrows, and they've played with it. I definitely feel like it serves a purpose. If I have my FOC or the front of my arrow correctly weighted and all that, my arrow is going to drive with the front of the arrow.
Right.
So I'm going to get more penetration in that animal. And when you're hunting bigger, and when you're hunting elk, caribou, grizz, stuff like that, I need the front of the arrow driving the arrow.
Yeah.
I need that penetration.
Okay. So the whole, I don't necessarily know if you'd call it theory, hypothesis, whatever you want to behind it, but the whole thing behind it is FOC gives you better penetration.
I think so, yes.
But obviously that's important when you're trying to kill anything, but let's, obviously big game, bigger animals, you want that. But I feel like the other part of it is, does that affect your speed at all? Because there's lots of guys that want a fast arrow. We all know whitetail can duck an arrow at 40, 50 yards.
Sure.
Talk to us about that.
So, me personally, and I've been told I'm crazy. I've been told that people agree with me. I don't get caught up in speed as much as others. Now, with my setup, I could easily be shooting 310, 320. I'm shooting a 75-pound bow. As long as I can keep my speed above 270, I'm happy.
Yeah.
I don't want it, like it's 1990, 210, 215, but I don't get caught up in speed like some guys. I've got customers, man, and they're phenomenal archers. I mean, they kill big deer. They're great hunters, and they care about speed. They want the fastest arrow. They want to be shooting 320 as fast as that bow can shoot. But they're shooting, a toothpick through there, where I'm shooting something a little bit bigger, a little heavier, and I want when it hits the animal, I want it to thump that animal.
Okay. Let's dive into arrow weight. So then it all kind of circles back to arrow weight. So you're looking at penetration, you're looking at FOC, you're looking at speed, and talk to me about weight, because I feel like there's guys out there that, like I'll call out one, for example, Ranch Fairy. He likes to shoot Lincoln logs. It sounds like 600 grain arrows. Like, why are guys going that route?
Penetration, bigger animal, and the internet, Grizzly Stick, all those companies that have come out with that science. And there's definitely proof behind that on a big animal. I don't disagree with that. I don't throw it to the side and say it's crazy, but I shoot my arrow weight right now is 512.
Yeah.
I think, me personally, I feel like with a 512 grain arrow, I'm shooting 75 pounds and my bow is shooting that at 291. I feel like I can kill any animal in North America. I don't feel like there's anything too big for that arrow to handle. Now, if I were to go to Africa and try to kill a cape or something, I feel like I would need to be closer to that 650, 700 range.
Yeah. Now, let's talk about spine, because that also kind of falls into this as well. You know, you're talking about like 500 spines, 400 spine, 340s, 350s, 360s, 300s, 260s, 250s.
Right.
For the average guy that's out there, I feel like the average guy is in that typical 28, 29 inch draw length. Most of them are going to be pulling 70 pounds. What's kind of that bread and butter arrow combo from a spine combination? Like, tell me.
The average person, 70 pound draw, that national average draw length's 28.5 to 29, just like you said. That spine needs to be 300 to 350. You don't want anything heavier than that, which would be a lower number, and you don't want anything less than that because the spine's not strong enough to handle it.
Okay.
So 300 to 350 is the sweet spot for the average whitetail hunter day in and day out.
What about elk? What about if they want to shoot like a 250, 260 spine?
I shoot a 250 spine shooting 75 pounds, but the very first year I ever elk hunted, I shot a 70 pound bow, and I shot a 340 spine arrow. I had my weight like at 480-ish, and I was completely fine with that.
Okay.
I was getting plenty of penetration. I was happy with the setup, the speed, and everything. And then jumping into elk hunting after I went on my first one, I got addicted to it. So I started studying it real hard. And that's why I wanted to push my weight to 515-ish to 520, up my bow weight. That's how that all came to me.
Okay. So, I mean, is there such a thing as going too stiff with your spine?
I think so. Yeah, I don't think your arrow will fly as good.
Does it just act all wonky? Or, because, I mean, like, I've seen it where you go too stiff. I've actually seen arrows correct themselves and shoot really good out of paper. But then I've also seen, the danger you run into is if you are shooting too weak of a spine is putting carbon into your arm, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think going too weak is definitely more dangerous and more detrimental than going too stiff. Because obviously it can't handle the pressure that bow's under if it's too weak.
Yeah.
But two, a lot of people will paper tune at 10 yards inside, and that arrow is going to be flying good right there. But if it's too weak or too stiff and you back up to 30 yards and get outside and paper tune, downrange, it might start wobbling and getting wonky on you pretty bad.
Okay. So, we've talked FOC, we've talked arrow weight, we've talked spine. Let's talk vein configurations on these arrows. There's a lot of guys that believe in running wraps and a 3-vein or 4-vein configuration, or you've got guys that they hate wraps and they're running 3 or 4. They're running helicals. And talk to us about what you've seen. Owning your shop is kind of a really good all-around successful setup to direct people towards.
So that all goes back to building that arrow and what you're looking for.
Yeah.
The only reason you'll see me put a wrap on an arrow is if I need weight in the rear end. If I don't need weight in the rear end to make that arrow fly the way I want it to fly, I won't run a wrap. I've ran four veins before. I didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a 3 vein guy. Whatever vein you choose, tack, blazer, whatever. I I like a 3 vein, and I do like a helical. Now, I'm a right-handed, so we always put a left helical on that arrow. Some people test that arrow, they'll mark it, they'll shoot it, they'll figure out which way it's spinning off that bow, and they'll helical that the opposite way of the spin, and that will drive. Yeah, it's the opposite way, and that will help that arrow correct and fly straight quicker off the bow. So there's reasons behind it, but I really like a 3 vein setup. That's just me.
Okay.
I like it. It's been well for me. I didn't care for the 4 vein very much.
Okay. I gotcha. Well, man, I like all this. I like the talk on the FOC and all that we've talked into. And so for part 2, I want to dive into broadheads, the thing that ultimately is slicing through that animal, killing that animal. This is a time of year that a lot of guys are testing stuff out. Buddies are going back and forth. They're digging into forums, looking at reviews. And so, hot topic, mechanical versus fixed blade. Give me the pros and cons of each.
So, fixed blade broadhead, I hunt with that on anything bigger than a mule deer.
Okay.
It's going to be stronger if you get a bone, if you clip a rib, clip the back end of the shoulder, that broadhead is going to withstand that a lot more. The problem with a fixed blade broadhead is you'll spend, all year shooting field tips, getting it dialed in. 9 times out of 10, that fixed blade is going to fly totally different than that field tip. You're going to be starting over, retuning, resighting the bow, and all that. But it's worth it if I'm going on any, like I said, anything mule deer and bigger. I like to shoot a fixed blade broadhead.
Yeah.
Mechanical, I really like a mechanical. Let me rephrase that. I really like a couple of mechanical broadheads that, knock on wood, they haven't opened in flight, not open, or any of the disaster stories you hear of from me yet in my hunting career. A mechanical is going to fly a lot like your field tip, so you're going to have a whole lot less after you spin off, so you're not going to have to adjust it as much as you will a fixed blade broadhead.
Yeah.
The problem is when they open, the blades are a lot thinner, they're a lot smaller, so they're not going to do as much to a bone as a fixed blade broadhead will. So in turn, you're not going to get as much penetration if you clip a big bone where you would with a fixed blade broadhead.
Okay. So what's your recommendation then on a couple of brands out there for each of these, mechanical and fixed wise?
Mechanical, and people thought and at the shop that I was crazy. I love the True Glow 4-blade broadhead.
Really?
On a mechanical broadhead. I love it. And everybody's like, True Glow kind of has that rep of, a little bit cheaper merchandise, kind of Walmart brand. I'm telling you, that broadhead has done phenomenal for me on big I deer hunt Kansas every year, and it has done phenomenal. It's never opened, it's never failed me. I mean, it's never opened in flight. It hits the animal, it opens, they're extremely sharp out of the package, and they fly extremely well. I like those. And another one that we sell a lot of is the Levi Morgan Swacker. It's a huge cut diameter. It's a big blade, flies great, and it's rubber banded. where that true glow is not. It kind of locks into place on its own. But then fixed blade, I'm an iron wheel guy, man. I like the 2-blade S series iron wheel with the bleeders on the back. I think they make arguably one of the best broadheads, fixed blade broadheads on the market.
Absolutely.
And then second for me on a fixed blade broadhead would be G5 Montec. A Montec, they have the carbon steel. It's strong. I've seen it go through some bone, and they're sharp. They fly pretty well. I really like those two.
Love it, man. Love it, dude. Well, man, this is all really good advice just on helping people kind of figure some of this stuff out for the rest of the summer going into the fall. So what do you tell as parting advice before we end today's episode? What's kind of some parting advice that you give to, your customer that comes in that's looking to tinker and find that next best arrow?
Man, the one thing I always tell people in today's world, especially today's world with the internet and the blogs and the YouTube and everything you can get on to learn, I say find one guy or two guys that have the success behind their name and follow them and stay true to those guys. Like, take their advice, stick to one or two people like that, and then that way you're not chasing 1,000 different people's advice and this guy's going to say this and this, and then you're just going to end up confused, or you're going to be doing 10 different things instead of just like one person.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I strongly is one of my strong opinions on the archery industry is just find the one and follow. That's who we need to stick with. And like for elk hunting, mine's Dan Stanton. I mean, I think he's got the numbers behind his name. One thing I like about Dan, he's blunt and to the point. Like, it's not all show for him. It's work, and he's proven himself in the mountains year in and year out.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to like, if I'm going to give advice in the shop, I'm going to, you hunt deer, you hunt elk. I'm going to get that information and then get a good arrow. Like, there's places to save money when you building a bow or building a setup.
Yeah.
An arrow, in my opinion, is not one of them.
No.
Don't try to buy, a $5-6 arrow when you just bought a $900 bow. Like, let's cut money out of quivers or, maybe even a stabilizer, but not the arrow. The arrow's pretty important.
Oh, 1,000%, man. I mean, that's what's going to be putting the meat on the table for you.
Right.
So.
Well,
I love it, man. Well, dude, I really appreciate you hopping on the podcast and talking arrow setups with me today. I really do appreciate the time.
Man, I love it, dude.
All right, there you go, everybody. We got Logan on to talk about all that arrow building goodness, golden nuggets. Hopefully, you're going to be able to take some of that and apply it to your arrow build and figure something out this fall so you've just got your bow and arrow set up doped, dialed in, and ready to kill. So, again, y'all, we just want to thank y'all for your support of the HuntStand podcast. We appreciate it, and we will see you next week.